What's up, everybody? This is Shelny again, giving you another of the 8 robots from the Mega Man for any percent speedrun. Now I'm going to be robot number 5. At this point, no matter what route you decided to take, your routes are now going to merge together. Skull is always going to be your 5th robot. That's basically because you can't really do him sooner because Flash Stopper is so useful in his stage, and you need to have Dust for his weakness to kill him quickly. So basically with this stage, there's going to be a lot of Flash Stopper abuse. Again, continuing to have good movement with slides will help you make Flash Stopper last longer for a lot of these longer screens. Some of the beginner strats I'm going to show safer places to plan to reflash so that you don't have to worry about jumping and getting hit by something. It just starts to move almost immediately. And then we're also going to talk a little bit, obviously, about the zip and whatnot that's in. So let's watch the beginner strats here, and then we'll talk about it screen by screen. Okay, let's go back and let's look at the first thing we're going to do when we start this stage is we're going to switch right to Bright. For beginner strats, I recommend just using Bright for the entire stage because it makes the stage really trivial by freezing enemies in place. You're just going to see me slide forward, freeze the screen as soon as these guys get into sort of into range, and then I'm just going to mash them and then keep sliding, mash them, keep sliding, jump up here, mash through these guys. We're just going to basically clear out the ones that are in our way so that we can continually slide. You're typically going to have your Flash Stopper wear out somewhere around here, depending on your movement. If you have really good movement, you can make it last pretty far, almost to the end of the screen. But typically you're probably going to have to reflash either in this room back here or somewhere on these stairs. So just hit B again to reflash, freeze the enemies, finish off that last guy, and jump up here. For this room, it's pretty straightforward. Just flash the room as you are coming up the ladder. The nice thing about Flash Stopper actually is you can hit B on the ladder, and you won't actually get like a shoot animation from Mega Man. So you can actually press B one time and keep climbing the ladder uninterrupted. Then just climb up here, jump up, kill the Skull Joe. They take 3 hits. And then slide up and jump to the ladder. Pretty easy. Honestly, Flash Stopper is the reason why it's so useful in the speedrun is for this exact reason. You can just make some of these rooms so trivial. So as soon as you jump up to this ledge, freeze the screen. That'll freeze these shield enemies in place. Remember, we talked about this in the Dust tutorial about how enemies that are sometimes invulnerable from the front, Flash Stopper gets rid of that invulnerability, and that's going to be true as well for some of the enemies in this stage that are invulnerable in the back. So here we're just going to freeze these shield enemies and then kill them. They take 4 shots, Okay, now you're going to do 2 slides, and you need to stop your slide in front of this shield guy here. If you do another slide here, or if you let this full slide come through, you can sometimes come out of your slide right below the shield enemy and get hit. So what I do is I slide up close to them, then I turn left to stop my slide. If you've seen the tutorial, the mechanics tutorial, you'll know that you can do an easy slide cancel by pressing the other direction, and then slide underneath him. And that gives you plenty of distance to clear underneath him before Mega Man stands up again right here. And then we're just going to jump up here, mash that guy down. Be aware of this one. Sometimes he might unfreeze, depending again on your movement. So what I just typically might recommend is just jump up and shoot him and take him out. You might notice that as you're trying to kill him, you flash again because Flash Stopper was about to wear off. Just make it easier, kill him, and go to the ladder and climb up. This is the Eddie room in case you want to grab like an E-Tank or something. You can sort of like go back and up and down and try to farm one. That's what a lot of casual learners do, but I really recommend not doing that because screen transitions in this game are actually really slow. You lose about 2 to 2.5 seconds every time the screen transitions. So if you decide you're going to farm Eddie, every time you go up and down, you're actually losing about 5 seconds. So what I just honestly recommend here is if you're really struggling and you feel that you need an E-Tank or something along the way, don't farm them from Eddie. There are better choices for E-Tanks here. I recommend for 8 robots, there's a good one in Drillman that you can grab fairly quickly. Now, Drillman is the 7th robot of the route, so that might not be ideal for you if you're struggling with the first 6, but typically 8 robots aren't too bad, and you shouldn't really need an E-Tank, but if you really want to see if Eddie will give you an E-Tank, after your first slide off this ladder, just hesitate for like just a fraction of a second instead of sliding through like I did, and then he'll throw the item and you'll get it. If you don't want to obviously get the item, then do what I just did. Try to slide immediately and you'll slide through Eddie and he'll throw the item over top of you. That's something to be aware of in Dive Man as well, because there'll be another Eddie there as well. Here, you don't have to do this little release and jump. You can just hold up and climb the ladder if you want. But if you feel like you have a pretty good control of pressing A to release the ladder, you just need to hold right for like a frame as you release so that you land on this edge, and then you want to jump as soon as possible to grab the ladder at the maximum height. This will skip a little bit of ladder climb. It doesn't really save much time, but if you don't want to do that, just climb the ladder. Okay, so now we've hit the checkpoint room. So this room is very likely that you're going to have to take 2 flashes to get through it. What I recommend is flashing at the beginning of the room. You can jump up and shoot this guy. Now, this guy, like I said, is normally invulnerable from the back. He takes 3 hits, so just when you freeze the room, jump up and shoot him 3 times. Slide up, jump up behind here, and jump up here. Now, these worms will spawn, but they won't actually fall unless Flash Stopper wears off, so don't worry about them falling on you. Just jump up here, slide, mash this guy 3 times, and slide through. If you're scared of doing this little micro slide, just jump. As long as you're somewhere on this first tile, you'll make this jump. Not that hard of a jump this way. Then again, 3 shots into him, slide forward. There's another worm, but he's not going to fall. If your movement is slow, your Flash Stopper could potentially wear off somewhere in this hallway, and then he might fall. So just, you're going to have to get a feel for it when you play, because it's going to be different for every single person. If you find that your Flash Stopper is wearing off back here, just jump up and kill him and then slide under him. That way, if your Flash Stopper does wear off, you refreeze the room, and if it doesn't, you kill him and then you move on. Again, 3 shots into this guy, and again, same deal with this worm. If your Flash Stopper hasn't worn off and you're worried it's about to, you can do the same thing. Just jump up and kill him and then come down here to make your next jump. So here, if you slide off this edge, be very careful, because depending on your subpixel, if you're holding right this entire time and you want to land on this ledge and jump across, if you do not release right and you get the subpixel that's further to the right, you'll actually only have 1 frame to jump off this ledge if you do not release right. So what I recommend for new runners is slide off this edge, hold right, but as soon as you land, let go of the D-pad for a second. That gives you about a landing similar to this, and it gives you more time to focus on making this jump. The other nice thing about it is if this worm falls, he'll fall behind you, and he always starts to walk this way first, typically, but it gives you plenty of time so that this guy shouldn't hit you if he does fall after you've landed here. and it gives you a really good jump location to make this jump, because this jump is pretty far, but it's not that bad as long as you have this location to stand. And you notice my flash stopper wore off here, so this guy's starting to fall. I'm just going to refreeze the room. You can refreeze it when you land. You can refreeze it as you're jumping in the air, whatever you want. But if you do freeze the room here and this guy starts to fall, just, if he's in your way, kill him. And if he's like this, I'm just going to slide underneath him. I froze him in midair. And if you're refreezing somewhere around there, you're not going to have to deal with this guy up there. And we're just going to go to the ladder and let go. Now this room, something that you need to be not really aware of, it's not that big of a deal, but if you freeze the room back here on this location here, there's actually a spike enemy here. They only take one hit, but it's not that bad. But there's a spike enemy that'll spawn here if you don't flash the room back here. So if you do one full slide and this part of the room starts to appear, you're going to get a spike enemy. So just be aware that if you're not going to flash here and you're going to flash over here or a little later, you're going to have to kill an enemy here that's going to spawn. He doesn't spawn, though, here because I froze the screen soon enough. And so those enemies actually don't spawn with flash stopper active. So you're going to notice, I just want to show you the movement here. So if I hold right off this fall and slide once, twice, 3 times, you notice that my third slide ended right here. If my movement is very good and very clean, your third slide will always put you at this ledge, not past it. If you're really scared, because this is another jump that can be really dangerous for newer runners. If you're really scared of this jump, I recommend actually pulling coil out. That's even more easier strat. Is you can just use coil here. So instead of flashing this room, change to coil, kill the spike enemy that appears here, and then summon coil here if you're really scared of this jump. But this jump shouldn't be that bad. As long as you're near the edge, like this third slide sort of sets you up for it, you should be able to just jump across here. Again, Skull Joe's taking 3 shots, so I'm just going to shoot him 3 times when I land, and then slide through. Now, this is something, again, if you're not comfortable with jumping out of a slide by a ledge, you might not want to do. But all this is just a slide. You notice I didn't even let my hand get close to this edge. I jumped from like way back here. It's whatever you want. As long as if you want to do a slide, a small, shorter slide there, you can. If you don't, you can walk it. But obviously sliding, again, this is a sliding Mega Man. It's not Mega Man 2, so you want to be trying to slide as much as you can. And you're just going to jump up and shoot 3 times. If you don't want to do the shots here and you're scared of like trying to jump and shoot at the same time because you're over a pit, just jump across and then like slide to here and jump up and shoot 3 times here and then jump up. It's whatever you feel most comfortable with. We're just going to kill him. We're going to jump up there. We're going to slide. Be careful on this spot right here, okay? So if you slide too far on this ledge, you'll actually get caught underneath this ceiling of this platform, and it won't allow you to jump out of your slide, and you'll fall down here. What I recommend is if you're going to slide on this platform, jump earlier than you think. So maybe even around here, jump out of your slide. You're going to see, if I go back here, notice my hand when I jump out of my slide is right here. So that way I'm not getting caught under this platform. Then slide off this, slide off that. Now when you slide under this and fall straight down, don't hold left or right, just let go of the D-pad. You'll fall straight down in front of the Skull Joe, shoot him 3 times, and slide once. That'll get you to this ledge, jump out, land on this edge, and slide into the door. Now if you are low on health, obviously these health pickups are right here. So never feel like you can't just jump up here, grab these health if you're struggling with this stage in any way. But if you're using the flash stopper strats, you should be pretty close to full health here because you're going to be killing almost everything in your path and keeping everything frozen in place so that it's not moving. That should make this stage very, very trivial. Okay, so the only thing that you really need to worry about for this fight is switching to dust here. I want to just point out one little thing here. A lot of people, if you look at the menu here, so you're on bright right now. A lot of people will hit down either 3 times, 1, 2, 3 to dust, or they'll hit up 3 times. They'll go 1, 2 to the E-tank, and 3 to dust. Notice here, what I'm going to do, because I have balloon, I can actually just press right. If I press right, because I don't have skull in my inventory, it's just going to go down to balloon, and then I can hit right again, and it'll go over to dust. So notice I go right to balloon there, and right to dust. So instead of doing 3 inputs of up, 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 or down, 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 I'm only going right, right, or right, left if you prefer. But I like doing 2 quick double taps of right. and that will go to balloon, and then it'll go right across dust. That's something, a little optimization. I actually see a lot of runners not do that, so free one input time save. Okay, so this boss fight, if you've played this game casually, you might actually know that in this boss fight, this is the one fight where you can enter in, and Skullman, if you don't press anything on the controller, Skullman will not do a single thing. This boss fight is 100% manipulatable. Basically, how he works is he follows a set number of patterns. He can either shoot at you, which is caused by you either pressing left or right on the D-pad, or he can jump at you, and that's by you pressing the B button. So basically, depending on your inputs on the controller, you control what Skullman will do. The only randomness of this entire fight is how long he holds his shield out, and we'll talk about that throughout these 3 different tutorials a little bit. So what I'm going to do is, I want Skullman at the beginning of this fight to start shooting at me. I don't want him to jump at me, because when he jumps at you, he's going to do a shield pattern. And we want to manipulate this fight so that he only has 1 shield the entire fight. If he does more than 1 shield, we did something wrong. So there's 2 different ways you can handle this fight. I'll show the faster way to do this fight in the beginner and the advanced tutorials, and I'll actually show the other way to do this fight in the intermediate fight. If anybody's curious, they can take a look at it there. So what we're going to do is, I'm going to hold right as the fight starts. As soon as the fight starts, I want to hold right. And so for the first frame of the fight, because I'm holding right, Skullman is going to shoot at me. Now, Skullman always shoots 3 bullets. He'll shoot 1 probably at me here. Then he'll probably shoot another one upward, because I'm going to jump over his first bullet. And then he's going to shoot another one straight across at me, which I'm also going to jump over top of about here. So basically, the idea behind this fight is you want to hold right. When he starts shooting, you jump over the first bullet. Make sure, I should clarify, hold right for the first frame so that he shoots. After that frame, you can press B, because you want to get a shot in as soon as possible when this fight starts, obviously. You want to kill him quickly. Then, don't shoot him again until he's done his shooting pattern, because what we're going to do is we're going to manipulate him to jump early, and we want him to jump about to here. We want him to do a short jump. Now, Skullman can do 2 different jumps. It's dependent on how far away Mega Man is from him. So if I'm standing anywhere from about this edge of this bone here in the floor, back here, he'll do a really far jump. And if I'm on the other side of this bone, somewhere between here and here, he'll do a shorter jump. So basically what I want to do is, before I make him jump, I want to make sure that I'm standing somewhere between this bone here and this rib bone here. So again, here we're going to hold right. Do you notice I inched forward to the right a little bit? Because I'm trying to force him to shoot. So that's going to cause him to shoot at me. So here he goes, he's going. Now I shoot him. Now, here comes his first bullet. I want to make sure I jump over it. So I'm jumping over the first bullet. That manipulates his second shot to go upward as I'm falling, so I dodge it. And now I'm in position. I'm in my position here on the bones. Here comes the third shot. I'm just going to jump over it. As soon as... You're gonna not probably see this, but okay, so look at this dust particle right here. As soon as that particle leaves the screen, you're gonna see it's going up to the top left. As soon as that particle leaves the screen, at the peak of my jump ideally, I'm gonna shoot another dust shot at him. This is gonna force him to jump instead of shoot at me, because I didn't press left or right, I pressed B. That's gonna force him to jump up. He's gonna jump into the dust shot, and then he's gonna do the short jump because I'm in position. He's going to land right in front of me, and now he's going to open up with Skull Crusher, and I want to hit him a 3rd time before he gets his shield up. Now, this is the only RNG part of the fight, is how long he holds this shield up. It can be very quick, it can be almost dropped immediately, or it can be up for about 4 seconds. So all you got to do is just wait, just stand really close to him, wait it out, and as soon as you see that shield drop, you're going to shoot him again a 4th time, and jump. As soon as you shoot him, jump back to about these little bones right here, because he's going to run at you as soon as you do, but he'll only run to Mega Man's position. So just make sure when you shoot him to jump to the left here. So it's going to drop. There it goes. Now there's my shot, and there's my jump, and I stay fairly close to him because this next part actually requires me to be very close to him. You see how close I am standing. I want to manipulate him so that he'll jump at me, but because I'm standing so close, instead of jumping into me like this, he's going to jump straight up in the air. because the game's just like, well, I'm already at his position, so I'll just do a straight up jump. Notice that I've got my second hit as well in after his shield dropped. Then there's the third shot. That B press caused him to jump. And then on his way down, I hit him with the fourth hit, and I kill him. Ideally, killing him close to the center like we always talked about. So I'm actually going to rewind this, and I'm going to go through this fight again a little bit and talk a little bit about a couple extra things. So there's the first shot after I am moving right to make sure that I get him into a shooting pattern. Jump the bullets. Hit him so that he... make sure that I'm not pressing left or right here. I just want to do a straight jump up in the air and shoot there and get him with the second hit. Third hit before the shield goes up. Then we got... fourth hit, fifth hit, sixth hit, seventh hit. So it takes 7 hits to kill him. Now, the only other thing that I should mention that you might have noticed after watching this twice is, despite the fact that Skullman uses Skull Crusher to protect himself, it actually doesn't have a hitbox. So notice, I'm standing inside the Skull Crusher. Like, look, that skull is right on top of Mega Man's head. That's actually a really disturbing image right there. The skull is, like, perfectly centered on Mega Man's face. But this Skull Crusher actually has no hitbox. It cannot hurt you. So the only thing I have to be aware of is where Skullman himself is standing. So that's why I can get right up close to him like this with no fear of the skull actually hitting me. And then again, as soon as the shield drops, shooting him, jumping to the left, getting my last hits in. And ideally, again, you want to kill him before he puts up his second shield. If you are struggling with this fight and you're not killing him before that second shield goes up, then I recommend doing the fight that I will show in the intermediate tutorial, which is coming up right away right now. So that's a quick overview of some really easy strats in. Let's take a look at the now slightly more advanced strats for Skull. Get the other splits up, and let's take a watch at some of the new strats that are going on now in this stage. Okay, let's go back. You've noticed now that we're changing up some strats here. Instead of using Bright for the first half of the stage, we're going to use Balloon instead. This is still the same, except for the fact that we're not going to menu now to Bright, because we're going to be changing the Balloon. It makes no sense to change to Flash Stopper, so we're just going to do this first section with Buster. Now, it's basically exactly the same, except now these turrets are active, so you will have to shoot a couple extra shots for these red balls that they shoot out at you, which is really easy for this corridor because they're right in your way. You basically just have to mash at them, and it's no big deal. Okay, so the first thing that I want to talk about with regards to this zip is not hard. It's got a very, very generous window. It's very easy. The hardest part about it is just getting the timing down so that you don't kill yourself. Like I talked about in the general mechanics video, you place a balloon too close to the ceiling and the balloon disappears before you take damage, it will push your head into the ceiling and in Mega Man 4, you cannot live inside of objects, so it will instantly kill you. So what we're going to do here is a very sort of precise setup. I'll show you my setup here, and that way you can sort of give it a go when you're trying to practice it or whatever. So what you want to do is jump up here and just slide past these bones here to about this bone here. Actually, no, it's not even that one. It's the first one. Sorry. You just want to slide up to this first one and then walk back to the right. That's going to spawn the enemy. This is the enemy that we're going to use to get iframes off of to zip through the wall. So I'm just going to slide up to that this double bone section. Pause. Press right one time. That'll take you right to balloon. Now, I want to walk so that my toe is just hanging over the edge of this bone right here. This is like the ideal setup. Technically, you can have your foot hang over about halfway over, or maybe even be a little bit further back. But the idea for the placement here is so that when you shoot your balloon, the balloon won't hit the wall and despawn. So you don't want to be too far to the right, because then if you place the balloon, it will be instantly despawn in the wall. You actually want this balloon to form so that you can land on it and sort of squeeze yourself between the balloon and the ceiling right here. So now all we have to do is wait for this enemy. Now the best sort of visual cue I have is if you look at this bone right here, it's sort of white here and it's a little gray on the side. You notice this 1 pixel width gray line that goes here. It's like white, 1 pixel gray, 1 pixel white again, and then it's gray again. This 1 pixel line, that's the visual cue. This is the line that you want to watch. As soon as this enemy comes down and hits that gray line, that's your cue to start this zip. You're going to shoot the balloon with B, and then you're going to jump onto the balloon and then slide into the corner. So the most important part about this is pressing B before you move right. As soon as the balloon is active, jump. I usually will actually hold up and right as I jump to guarantee that I don't accidentally slide off this ledge. And then as soon as I land, down and A to slide into the corner. So you're going to see, so the enemy hit this gray line. There's my cue. There's the balloon. I jump up to make sure I don't slide off this edge. I jump onto the balloon like this. The balloon will now pull me up, and I'm just going to slide. And now I'm stuck sort of in the ceiling, as you can see here. Now, if this guy does not hit me in time, like if I did this too early, like back when the enemy was back here, I'm going to die. If I do it too late and the enemy's here, he's going to hit me before I get sort of into this animation, or he's going to hit me when he himself is too high in his arc, and he will just drop me down here and I won't zip. I'll just fall down. So the timing with this little gray line here is really important. If you can get that visual cue and practice this will be absolutely free. So as soon as he hits me, the game has nowhere to put me, and because I have iframes, I don't die, so it just pushes me out of the wall and I fall straight down. So this isn't a very big zip. It only saves about maybe 3.5 seconds, but it is really, really nice and pretty easy to do if you can get a feel for it. So now we don't have any way of killing enemies, so we're going to have to just take a bunch of damage boosts. A few different things you're going to want to be aware of is the fact that health might become an issue when you're trying to manage it, but just be aware that you're going to take a lot of damage in these first few screens, and then once you're through these first few screens, you'll be changing back to Flash Stopper anyway, and then your health shouldn't be a problem. So just keep sliding when you get here, slide right into these enemies, and then slide right through them with your invincibility frames. Jump on the step, slide into that guy, slide through this guy. And now what we want to do is we want to place a balloon so that we can jump up to the top of the screen if possible. And I'm just going to show in the intermediate one, placing balloons in a location where you don't have to do a wall jump. So I'm going to place the balloon back here, and then I'm going to jump off that and grab the ladder higher. In this room, the Skull Joe's going to throw his bone at you. If you want to jump off the ladder, slide over here and then jump straight up. Turn to the right. That way, when you get hit by the bone he's going to throw, you'll get knocked to left. And then when you do that, just jump up here and slide through him with your invincibility frames. So you see he throws his bone. I jump into it. That does minimal damage. It's better to take damage from the bone than his body. As soon as I can jump, I jump up. And I do a little balloon right here. And I'm going to jump off that up to the top of the screen. If you don't want to do this balloon, don't feel obligated to. This balloon is actually easier if you can do wall jump balloons, because it's actually really hard to put the balloon further over to the right. So you might just even want to just, as soon as you take your D-boost, jump up here, slide over, and jump to the ladder, and then climb it. But Again, all up to you, what you feel comfortable with. Here, we're just going to jump up these steps. Now, this shield enemy is going to come rushing at you as soon as you get up here. Basically, your option is to either deboost off this guy, so you can either slide into him or just turn left and back damage boost when you jump. But ideally, you should be able to just jump over top of him like that. It's a little tight, so you might get hit anyway, but if you do get hit, then you'll have iframes to just slide over to this edge here. 2 slides. If you chain your slides together half decently at all, you'll always slide under this guy with your second slide. Don't panic. Here, I recommend waiting for this guy. Just stop right there, wait for him, and slide through. Now, there is this health drop, and I know you being at half health, this might be tempting. Don't go get this health drop. The amount of time that you waste going and sliding all the way over here to pick up this health and then go all the way back, you might as well be doing the bright strats for the entire stage, because you're wasting the amount of time that you're saving doing the zip and all that stuff. You basically waste all that time saved picking this up. So if you're gonna go for these balloon strats, don't ever go get this health. And if you don't feel confident doing the rest of the Skullman stage with this health plus the boss fight, I recommend just doing the bright strats. So again, depending on your movement, you might come out of your slide in a bad location in front of this guy. So if you want, just stop your slide before you get to him by like doing a slide cancel and then sliding under him if you have issues with getting past him without getting hit. Again, balloon and then up to the top of the ladder. Getting that placement of that balloon. Here, we're not going to just do a jump. We're going to do a couple balloons to get us. You can do one to the right and then turn and do one to the left and then jump up. It's pretty straightforward. Okay, now here, we're going to change back to bright. So you're going to have to hit up and left or up and right, depending on... Actually, I think it might have to be up and left. Not sure if right will go from coil to bright, but up and left is what I do for inputs here. And now we're going to do basically the rest of the stage like we did for the beginner strats, but it's going to be a little bit more risky. We're going to do that. We're going to still jump and kill this guy. Still going to jump up here, kill these guys. This is all pretty much the same type of movement. Mashing these guys when they spawn. Being aware again, notice my flash stopper wore off here. I saw this guy start to fall. I'm just going to play it safe, refreeze it during my jump, and slide under these guys. Nothing crazy. Again, flashing the screen back here so that this enemy doesn't spawn. Third slide puts me right at the corner, and I make my jump. Shoot this guy when I land. Here, you're going to see I'm going to slide, and I'm actually going to shoot my shots up here, whereas last time, I want to say I did my shots... Actually, that might have been the same as last time. Now, notice only 2 of my shots hit this guy. So I have to be very careful here when I jump out of the slide to shoot a shot at the top, or I would get hit here and knocked down. So just be very aware of how many hit this Skull Joe, because you could miss potentially like I did there. And then this is all the same. Just going to land in front of that guy. 1 slide to the edge, jump to the door. Pretty straightforward. Now, this fight that I'm going to show here is the old RTA strat for this fight. Basically, the idea was you wanted to manipulate Skullman so you could get 4 hits in before he put up his first shield, and then you finished him off with 3 hits. I still recommend this fight if you're struggling with my new one that I showed in the beginner tutorial, and I'll also show in the advanced tutorial. But the idea here is still the same. Holding right when the fight starts, this will manipulate him to shoot, and then you fire, jump over that bullet, and then wait for this one to sort of come towards you. Then, ideally, you would shoot him again here. I messed up and got hit here, but I still got my shot off and hit him. But you would still dodge that second volley of shots the same way as the first one. Jump up, hit him again for a 3rd time, and then there's the 4th hit. So this makes getting the rest of the kill easier, because he only has 3 more hits left. Once again, standing close to him, so as soon as the shield wears off, hitting him and jumping to the left here. And then 6th hit and 7th hit before he finishes his jump to put up his 2nd shield. Now, the only thing I really want to point out here is, remember what I talked about in the beginner tutorial, I talked about these 2 skull bone parts here, where this is where you want to stand for the strat. Well, instead of doing a straight jump up, we need him to shoot again. We don't want to just shoot and then have him jump at us. So because we need him to shoot again a 2nd time, I need to make sure that I hold right here. So that's what you're going to see is I do those shots, and then you notice that when I was still in the air, I actually held right a little bit. That forced him to shoot again. And then after the 2nd time, he will always jump Because he won't do 3 shoot patterns in a row. After the second one, he'll always jump at you. So that's what allows you to get 4 hits in very easily. This strat is not much slower, and like I said, you might find it to be a lot safer to guarantee the kill without getting a second shield. But just know that you're losing a little bit of time, and it's just based on how Dust Crusher works. Okay, so now let's look at the advanced strats. What's up here? And we'll have a watch. Okay, let's go back and let's look through these screens. So again, there's not a whole lot of difference between the intermediate and the advanced, except now we're going to do some more optimized movement. So before, you noticed I did a couple slides here and then I mashed these guys down. This time I'm going to do some bullet slides. I'm going to do one there, and that gets him with 2 hits in before I even stopped my movement here. That way I only have to shoot him twice instead of 4 times. And then again, bullet slides, hit him 1 time there. That way I only have to hit him 3 times. You don't have to kill this guy. In fact, it's actually negative to kill him because he could drop an ammo or a health drop. And since you're going to deboost and use a balloon, either one will slow you down. So if you do accidentally kill him, it's okay. It's not that big a deal, but try actually to control your mashing so you don't actually kill him. Again, we're going to do the same balloon setup. We're going to slide to here, turn around, pause, spawn the enemy, get my toe overhanging this ledge, and then we're going to wait for this enemy to hit this same gray line just like before. There he goes. There's my balloon. There's my hop. There's my slide. There's the zip. So it's sort of like boom, 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 boom. You just gotta make sure that you do the inputs. It's pretty quick, but once you get a feel for it, like I said in the intermediate strats tutorial, it's not so bad. Now, if you have good timing on this, you can actually slide a little bit into the hitbox of this enemy and then press left before your iframes wear off. And that will actually allow you to back deboost through this guy. I turned left a little early, so I didn't get hit immediately. But the idea is to try to turn back while your iframes are still active, so that it'll look like you just come out of your slide and get knocked to the right. Then you're just going to slide through, slide through, slide through, slide through, like before. Now, instead of placing the balloon here, I'm going to be placing balloons in the wall. I'm going to be doing my wall jumps, like I talked about in the general mechanics video. If you do want to sort of look over on how those are done, you can go to that video for sure. But I'm not going to get into too much detail. But again, the idea behind it is you want to place your balloon pretty much in a wall, but make sure that you can still move about 4 pixels towards the balloon. Otherwise, you won't actually be able to jump off of it. So, and that allows me to scale this section really fast and grab the ladder quickly. This strat now is going to be a little more optimized. Instead of jumping around here to get hit by the bone, I'm actually going to jump. I'm going to slide all the way to this ledge, and then I'm going to jump and turn right as soon as possible. And that allows me to get hit by the bone sooner, so that I get back damage boosted onto this ledge instead of back down here. So that allows me to slide right away and then balloon jump up here. Just like that. Now, last time I walked up these steps. This time I'm going to do almost pretty close to like an A plus B input. It's not quite an A plus B, but it's very close. It's quick roll A to B here. I'm going to basically jump place a balloon about here, and then I'm going to land on it and slide straight across it to here. And then I'm going to jump up, place a balloon so that it's roughly level with this ledge, land on it, and slide and keep going. Do you see? Even though I placed the balloon sort of semi in this step, I was still able to land on it and slide on it before it despawned. Then I'm going to place a balloon again at this height, land and slide, and then again, ideally jump over this guy. If I get hit, kind of sucks, but ideally you want to do that. You want to jump over him without stopping. 2 slides under this guy. Now I'm going to do a really short 4th slide. I have to do this short 4th slide or I'll bonk on this ceiling. You see me do this really short slide, then I'm going to place the balloon similar to the other one right in line with this floor, and I'm going to do a little hop over this shield enemy. The idea is that this will set up your movement so that if you slide chain here really well, you will not have to cancel your slide before this guy, and you can just keep sliding uninterrupted. Getting close to the ladder, doing another balloon jump like so. Again, avoiding Eddie and doing another wall jump. This room will be the same as intermediate, just 2 balloons up to the top. Now, just like the other, we're going to switch to bright now. Now, ideally, I like to do a really short 3rd slide and then jump up and mash this guy down 3 times and land on this all in one jump. Now, I actually fail it here. I tried to go for it, but I knew I wasn't going to get the kill in time, so I turned back. So I didn't take a hit. But you can definitely do that in one jump. And then again, a lot of this mashing, it's trying to kill enemies quick. But notice this kill in particular, I'm going to do bullet slides. That way I don't have to stop my slides to mash and kill this guy. I can just kill him and slide through him. Landing on this ledge, holding right. Just be very aware of your subpixel, because if you get the dangerous subpixel, you'll only have 1 frame to jump on this ledge. Landing on the edge here, and sliding through. And notice this time, unlike the last 2 tutorials, I got through this entire room without flash stopper wearing off. So 1 flash got me through the whole room. Here, same deal. We're going to flash back here so this guy doesn't spawn. 1, 2, 3. And I even do a 4th little tiny slide right here. That gets me there. I'm going to shoot this guy 3 times. Now, in the past tutorials, you saw me land here, do a slide on this platform, and then jump and mash 3 times. This causes a very, very tiny amount of lag. So what I'm going to do this time is instead, I'm going to try to mash smarter. I'm going to shoot 1 shot as I get down to about this height, so that this bullet sort of tracks just underneath this ledge. Right there. Now, if this shot is to hit the Skull Joe that's going to be coming up, my movement now needs to be very good. So you're going to see me slide right to this corner, do a very small jump to this ledge, and then he just spawns into the screen right as he gets hit by the bullet. And then I only need to jump and shoot him twice here. And I can do that all in 1 jump and slide through him. The reason this is a little bit faster than the other way is a couple of reasons. 1, you don't have to slide here, jump up, and shoot 3 times, which causes some lag. 2, you lose, or you don't risk run the risk of bumping into this and stopping your horizontal movement. And 3, it basically allows you to do the tiniest jump between this spot and this spot possible, which basically means that you can slide here and slide here for the maximum distance, whereas you would maybe lose out on some of that slide distance. So it's a very minor time save, but it's really cool if you can get it. And then same as before, the only difference now is instead of dropping straight down and killing this guy, I'm just going to hold right, and then as soon as I get to about here, I'm going to hit left, and I'm going to back damage boost on that guy like that. And then I'm just going to slide through and go to the door. So there's some tiny little optimizations, some little differences, but it's pretty much the same deal. We're just trying to get a little more optimized. And now I'm going to show you the same fight I showed in the beginner tutorial, except this time I'm going to get a really fast pattern. So you see, there's the manip to get him to start shooting, to walk right. I shoot him as soon as I start walking right. Jump over the bullet, that makes the first one go over me. Then land, he shoots the last one. I jump straight up and shoot again. That causes him to jump. He gets hit by it. 3rd shot when he lands, there's the shield. Shield drops, hit him with the 4th shot, jump away from him and back to close towards him to stay in very close. Again, you want to be very close, otherwise he won't jump straight up. He'll jump at you, sort of like this. He'll do a short jump. Get the 5th hit in before he even jumps. 6th hit to make him jump. 7th hit to kill him. Easy fight. So hopefully this has been a really good example of how to do Skullman stage in a few different easier or more advanced ways. if you are having issues with this fight in particular or anything, definitely just fire me off a question. But just to sort of reiterate what I mentioned in the beginner tutorial, it's pressing left or right, not holding necessarily. It's the actual. Well, actually, I think for the D-pad itself, if you are holding or pressing left or right, that is what makes him shoot at you. If he's waiting to do a new action and he's just standing there and you press B, that will trigger him to jump at you. He will only do a maximum. His pattern will only do a maximum of 2 shooting patterns, so he'll do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then if you were to hold left or right again, he wouldn't shoot at you a third time. He'll jump at you, and then he'll put up a shield. He always shields after he does his jumps. And then he always runs to your position. So if you're playing this fight a little safe and you're trying to stay away from him, just be aware that when he comes out of his shield, he's going to charge at you. You have to make sure that you're able to jump over him. And be aware that if you're still holding left or right when he stops charging and then looks to take a new action, he'll start shooting at you right away. So everything you do in this fight is manipulatable. And that's anything that he does, it's because you did something on your controller. So just keep that in mind when you're fighting. Hopefully that'll allow you to sort of get a feel for the fight and understand why Skullman does what he does. And that will hopefully help you gain some more information on him to be fighting him smarter and know that, how to control him and how to make him do what you want him to do. All right. Thanks for watching this tutorial on Skullman. Next will be Dive Man, obviously, because we're following weakness order at this point. And yeah, we're already into the second half of 8 Robots, so I'm really excited. I'm hearing a lot of great feedback so far from these tutorials, so I'm really happy that these have been helpful for people. So yeah, we'll definitely see you guys tomorrow. Take care.